It feels lifeless. In 2026, the Roblox Games tab has been abysmal. Nowadays, with games filling the site with slop that has been copying the same formula that has worked and focusing to prioritize monetization rather than actual gameplay or a full sound experience. And games with some very shady backgrounds regarding the people behind them. To me, Roblox nowadays just feels so lifeless compared to what it once was. With original features like classic faces being removed, the focus of Arthro still being a priority, and the neglect of any real transparency with the community when their concerns of how this platform is being handled nowadays makes things feel lifeless. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm here to tell you a story about a game that I have admired very openly on this shell of what used to be my childhood and on this channel, and why this particular game is a reason I haven't given up on it yet. Because nowadays, in a cesspool of games forced to adapt to the current expectations, this game refuses to change. Before I get into why I love this game, I feel it's important to get you acquainted with who this is. This is Bear. Bear is the poster boy. This is his game. And what's the game? He wants to kill you. That's it. Bear is a cat and mouse styled survival horror game where around 10 players are spawned into the round. However, every single time there will be at least one person missing. One player is selected out of random to become Bear. The rest of you are survivors for an extended amount of time based on a timer. Your goal as a survivor is simple. Survive. Basically, for the next few minutes, you're going to be chased around a rather large map by this plush-like creature. Nice. However, it's not so hopeless as it seems. You could jump, hide, and even run away once you see the bear. Unless, of course, the bear spots you and targets you like a heat-seeking missile, draining your stamina bar for a whole minute. That's hopeless. You see, the game's main mechanic relies around puzzles. There are a total of 4 every map, and these puzzles, when completed, can decrease the timer instantly by 30 seconds. Do this enough times and wait out the clock, and good job, you won the round. You understand the game. So with the games out nowadays, don't kind of go into it expecting, oh, I can juke out the killer. You can't. Think of it more as a hide and seek. From this point on, I'm going to be discussing some main topics about the game. I understand there is content from before I first found the game, but I did not play the game during that time. I only found it in 2020. So with that being said, please enjoy this video where I tell you why I love the Bear games. Okay, so this is the part where unfortunately I do have to give Roblox just a little bit of credit, because truthfully, without them, I don't think I would have found Bear. Admittedly, the only ever reason I even knew of Bear is because of Egg Hunt 2020. And if I wanted to get the grand prize, I kind of had to go into every single game that was chosen and get their egg. Bear was one of those games I had no idea what I was getting into. I loaded the game, it took a huge inhale because of the egg hunt grind, and then I got loaded into a very simple looking lobby that was all metal plated, and I think there was like a door right next to this console looking thing. And I kid you not, my first introduction to the game was getting spawned into this random map and then trying to find a tiny little golden key. And that's how you started the egg hunt quest. And only then, when you get the key, would the door in the lobby unlock, and it would start the low effort quest. But this was different. At this time, I was already going through tens of different games that were all doing the same premise. Go into the game, find something, wait around for a few minutes, wait for a specific round to pop up, get the badge. Simple as that. But Bear did not do this. They did not just do a collect this and be on your way type thing. What they did in the span of this short quest was this. It introduced you to a mysterious character based on the text, and it brought you to an entirely new place, separated from the main game itself. Most games did not do that for this event. The area being some type of museum. Listen, I'm not going to praise the actual quest itself. As soon as you found the paper, it became relatively simple to figure out what you needed to do. But I am going to point out why this worked for me. You see, the other games being so low effort in this event actually helped this game heavily because of the fact that this one was different. this one was taking a different approach, and it was very noticeable. And following up with that museum, it still wasn't the end of this quest. It then teleported you to a random obby that was actually kind of challenging, which, oh my god, challenging Acon 2020, that's crazy. And only then, after beating that obby, you were able to walk around this huge glass wall and secure the egg from its containment. Let's get this straight. The game's task sent you to 3 separate places away from the main game, all relating to one task. That's a lot. And that was just a taste of this game. Anyways, well, as the story goes, I grabbed the egg, and that was the end of my experience. According to the list anyways, that was it. I had the egg. I had no reason to go back to that game if I really didn't want to. And initially, I didn't. But as I kind of kept going through the other games in this event, something about that game just enticed me. The retro-styled lobby, the cursed but endearing creature of the main thing. Who was that silhouette at the museum? And the most important question I had out of it all was, should I play again? I don't have the exact timeline for this section, but in a very short amount of time after and during the event, I went back to Bear. I just kept revisiting the game, and honestly, I just had a blast. See, there's always been something about these survival hide-and-seek games that I'm personally just entertained by. I like the fear that comes with the chase, the strategy that requires the game, and the overall game itself. So yeah, Bear on paper is a simple game, but the content the game provides is wide. With all the different maps, cosmetics, and the main one being secrets, because of these factors, the main gameplay loop of Bear is actually very replayable. I even started feeling nostalgic just based on navigating through all the maps that all had the same build style for when I even played Roblox in the first place. See, I understand it's different nowadays, but at this time, most Roblox games weren't approaching the retro thing. They were actually more focused on becoming something that looks like it wasn't from Roblox. And this game was the outlier. And I was just becoming a fan. I started suggesting this game to a lot of my friends the more I played it. And one of them actually ended up recording a gameplay video of me and him playing the game. Heck, I even wanted to make content over the game. See, one night after a play session, I stayed up all night learning basic GFX for Blender in order to make this image. It's one of the first ones I made as a GFX artist. I also made a video over the game, and it remains to be one of the oldest videos on my channel. I'm not very proud of that video nowadays, but younger me was so infatuated with this game, they thought it would be a great idea to open up his shit MacBook Air and just kind of record a video over the gameplay, but also showcasing some shirts that I bought for the game. And Bear was the first ever merchandise purchase I've made for a Roblox game. I still have the shirts. I still wear them. Sorry, you're done with the montage. I thought I'd take a minute and go eat something. Anyways. Well, that's time I'm not getting back. Anyways, where were we? So we've established the nostalgia and the personal memories that I have from this game. However, nostalgia doesn't win everyone if they have no attachment to the game in the first place. So let's talk about the game now and discuss what has made people come back to it, building one of the most dedicated communities I've seen on Roblox. I mean this with no joke. Bear's Secrets events are some of the most clever and intuitive pathway tasks that I have seen in a Roblox game. If you're familiar with like Ready Player One, a lot of them follow suit kind of to that. There's a lot of badges in this game, as you can see, but some are actually secret quests that will reward you with an exclusive skin, usually limited time, but still, as someone who has gotten a handful of these badges, I gotta say, genuinely, how the fuck were you supposed to figure these out? And I'm not kidding, the community loved these badges, and it seems the team even prided themselves on how exclusive this stuff was as well to the game. Just so I can paint a picture for you by what I mean, check out this badge called Who Found Out. Nice, right? Behind the badge awards this skin right here. How neat. That sounds pretty cool. Well, in order to get this badge, this is what you specifically had to do. Go to this map, use this gear, run around inside this part of the map, find this dead end, use the gear on the wall of this dead end, get teleported, and tie in a Connect 4 game with one other player. Run through a long hallway, step on this, run back through the hallway, walk into this empty room with a TV, do not touch the TV, and wait as a shadow on the wall becomes more visible for 5 straight minutes. Guaranteed I lost you at Connect 4. And the community is so involved with these things. I remember vividly that when this skin came out and the actual Connor 3D tutorial came out, there were people actually pretty upset about it, and there was a bit of outrage, even urging the developers to immediately remove the badge the same day this video was uploaded. Now granted, I don't think there's anything wrong with keeping things limited or exclusive. FOMO sells. But it's a PNG, guys. It's a PNG. Now, moving on to something more positive. These events managed to keep a community invested and interested, which is great. That's great. Now, granted, I could list some other examples of insane badges that this game has, but I feel like that would be too much of an explanation for me. Another great addition to the game was its main updates. You know, there was a new map, sometimes a new game mode, new skins, cosmetics, etc. People like that. But it would be criminal not to mention the first ever Christmas update Bear ever received, Arctic Valley. This update fucked. Holy heck. With a huge boss fight against this huge bear throwing icicles, snowballs, and lasers at you, it was your job to launch him even more snowballs at him in order to defeat him. When you did this, you would then be rewarded with a range of Christmas-themed prizes, where if you were lucky, you could actually get a small version of that huge bear you just fought. Or if you were really lucky, and I mean really lucky, then you had a chance of getting the drop of this skin. It's called Big Man Ting. It is the actual size of the bear that you fought from Arctic Valley. I want this skin. Yeah, everybody wants this skin, but majority of us would and will never see this skin in our inventory because it is a joke skin. It is a 1 in a million chance of getting this skin. Despite that being the reality, the update was great with other fun prizes and would become a community praised update. So much so that this boss actually has been returning for later updates, and I really hope that they do it again. My first playthrough of Arctic Valley and Bear Alpha was actually last year when I played it with you guys. That was kind of fun. I may not see Big Man Tank, but it would be fun to try.
Wait! Oh, you could get it! Oh, you all are disappointed? Okay, we did it.
But wait, I just noticed something. We know Bear is the main character chasing us, but actually, now that I think about it, there's this thing you can buy for exactly 666 amount of quids in the shop. A classic-looking Roblox zombie, and even this disturbing dog creature. What? And that beast we just saw in Arctic Valley, that didn't look like Bear at all. Who are these guys? Believe this or not, Bear has a story, and I gotta say, I actually don't think it's a very sound story at all. I have no idea what the lore implication is, but I will give it this. There are some things that are beneath the surface resting in a pit, and you can find them. The story of this game revolves around 4 different characters. Granted, this story is revealed to be open-ended, but this is what I was able to gather during my research. I already explained who Bear is, but there is another hidden away. This is Sam. He's that big teddy bear you fought in Arctic Valley. Sam is a 4D creature who rarely phases out of the 4th dimension, becoming visible in 3D. Sam is revealed to be a pivotal character of the Bear franchises, debuting in Halloween 2019. In Bear Alpha's continuity, Sam is responsible for the creation of the bears. As the appearance goes, Sam is a teddy bear that has beige fur and a black nose and eyes. Sam appears to be stocky compared to Bear, and his arms also appear to be somewhat shorter. He also appears to be a little bit chubbier, but that's nothing to be ashamed of. This is Whitey. Similar to Sam, he is also hidden away in the below depths of the surface. Whitey is a secondary pivotal character of the Bear franchise. We'll get into that later. Whitey appears to be a white sock with tiny crying eyes and a rather big mouth. And this is Lagoon. Lagoon is here. Yeah, he's just here. I don't exactly know what his whole deal is, but he's the main antagonist of the Bear Alpha continuity. Lagoon's appearance is a large light blue alien with big half-closed eyes and very small feet. And that's really all you need to know about these guys right now. So now that you have a face to the name, I can actually tell you about why these three matter so much. These three are all involved in each other's fate, and them being out of the picture is no mistake. To give you another detail, Sam and Whitey are actually the ones responsible for the creation of the bears. But in order to get to the reason of why they are currently below the surface, remember when I mentioned that this story had 4 characters instead of the 3 we just talked about? There are. However, though, it's been implied that this whole time it was just Bear. And I lied. Yeah, I lied. It's not about this bear. It's not about that bear. No, it's about a specific bear that is forever doomed to be stuck in atrocious suffering because of what Sam did to it. It all started because of a bear that took a nap in the grass after his dinner. The bears were created by Sam and Whitey. In the outskirts of a cheese factory, Sam and Whitey would together create an experiment with the bears. Each and every one of these bears were unique. One would lead to another, and another, and another. And in a short amount of time, there would be hundreds of them. With hundreds of these bears, there was one bear that made a mistake. This bear was eating garlic bread. However, not just straight bread. This bear put cheese on the garlic bread. Something so insignificant, surely, nothing would come out of this. But Sam saw this. The bear went to go lay down away from the cheese factory where it was created. It would take a nap. It would get comfy in the grass. While Whitey was still experimenting with these bears, Sam followed this specific bear. With the bear resting in the grass, unaware of his surroundings, Sam would later appear to this bear and incinerate the bear. Through a slow and painful process, what would become a slow ember of flame to the bear would then become a full-on explosion. As the bear burned, its green color would slowly deteriorate into a rusty orange. 3 holes would start to sprawl over its body. Its arm would rip off. Its legs would tear off. The wires would stem from where these limbs were supposed to be. And its face would mold into a mangled, deteriorating mess while losing its ear in the process. The voice box becoming damaged and broken, resulting in a constant, screeching, static sound. Sam would later revisit the scene and sign his name on the resting bear corpse, unknowing that this bear was still alive. Unknowing what atrocity he has just created. Once Whitey found out what Sam has done to this bear, Whitey was furious and fumed at Sam for this behavior. Sam brushed this off as a joke. He found it actually quite humorous, but Whitey did not.
Let me tell you a story. On the outskirts of a factory one day, myself and Whitey were experimenting with different creatures. One creature led to another, and before we knew it, there were hundreds of them. They were all unique. They were bears, which undoubtedly you are familiar with. I may or may not have exploded one of them. Poor fella. Man turned into an absolute scrap. It was pretty funny, I got to admit. Whitey didn't appreciate it though. I wasn't aware somebody else was there to watch it all unfold. It was an atrocious mess in the end.
At some point after these events and the bear apocalypse began to begin, at some point something happened to Sam and Whitey that would cause them to end up getting trapped in their respective pits. They found themselves unable to move anywhere. They were trapped. They were struggling. And this went on for a long time. Whitey became worried at first that he and Sam may not be able to make it out at all. But over time, Whitey becomes persistent and pushes Sam to focus on remembering what happened in order to find a solution. After some time, through communicating with Sam, he would hear that there are objects that exist that have Whitey's face on it. Whitey learns about this and urges Sam to look for more. Sam has not been able to find any more afterwards. Later on, Whitey would discover that his pit now has bleachers. Sam suggested they use this as a lure to attract survivors. Eventually, Sam would start being visited by survivors and give them the check token for asking, and report each survivor to Whitey. All of them would proceed to fail. Only one would end up passing Whitey's test. As the protagonist gathered more of the tokens, hope actually seemed to be on the surface for Whitey and Sam. Eventually, they would see paradise if these tokens were the real way to get them out of these pits. However, someone was waiting for them at paradise. But that's where I'm going to leave this story for now. Just because that was pretty much all I could find regarding the story. I don't know too much about Lagoon right now, and I just didn't exactly know how his continuity lines up because Bear Star exists now, and I don't know actually where that lines up with Bear Alpha, and it's actually very confusing at the moment. So a lot of what I said can also be relating to Bear Star in the future, but we're not at that chapter yet. Whether the story gets tied up or not, who knows? Maybe there's more added that I just haven't seen yet, and I'm missing quite a few details. But I think we owe it to Bear Alpha for setting up the foundation for this story and game. You see, what I think works for Bear is the mix of nostalgia that people get from it now, along with the dedication of both the team and the community in order to keep this game going into the later years of Roblox. The game that Cheetah Man decided to create using his childhood mementos, repurposing them into something more than just a memory. Because of that, the game itself is built from its own nostalgia. And because of the community becoming so attached to this game, it would then allow Cheetah Man and his team to create the next big thing well into the near future. And with how long this chapter has been going for, I think I'm going to end it here for my own sake. I think Bear's a good experience in the survive the killer type genre of games, and while sitting at over 300 million visits on Roblox, I do want to see this number higher in the landscape of games on the platform nowadays. I understand this game's not perfect, but it has a charm I can't deny. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for listening, and until we discuss the next chapter, I can confidently say that this is the reason why Bear is my favorite game on Roblox.
You really did deserve better.